I notice you come here a lot. So you probably have a lot of free time, right? Oh my god, that sounded really rude. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like that. No. Like, you have a lot of free time, but, you know, perhaps, you know, you come to this club often, maybe there's another club you'd want to join. Yeah. I actually just so happen to be looking for people to join a club that I'm a part of. Yeah. Yeah. Would you be interested? Well, I can tell you about it. Are you married? No. Perfect. Oh my god, even more time. Anyways, listen, I can't help but notice that, you're very smart and attentive and, probably have your own ideas about things. So, um, I was wondering if maybe you'd be interested in joining the National Women's Party. Yeah, it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a girls' club. We all come together and we talk about extending the vote to women. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Oh, I'm so glad you're on board. Well, what seems weird about it? You support it, but I'm sure. Oh well, who cares what your father thinks? I'm sure he thinks, oh, they shouldn't do anything, we should do this, not that. Listen, you are as much as a human being as everyone else. Understand? Exactly. I mean, think about it. You think, they think. You could start, anything you want. Well, there's a lot of things you can't do, but that's because they don't let you. You know what I mean? If you were allowed to, you could make a business and open an account in the bank and be prosperous, but they don't allow you to. But that's a whole other thing. Listen. It all starts here. If we can get who we want in office, then we can have whoever we want do whatever we want. You understand this? Well, theoretically. Yeah. Well, listen. A lot of people, well, I'm sure you hear a lot of talk about all sorts of things. But I do think that, we have a lot of things to offer. And this is a real way to get in that door. But, of course, a lot of people are saying all sorts of things, especially about the National Women's Party right now. Listen, I understand that there's, still a war going on. But the fight for suffrage doesn't stop because, people are doing something else somewhere else. It's not that I don't care. It's just that if we put a pause on what we do, who knows? Who knows what'll happen? That's when movements lose steam, So that's why we are continuing in our actions. But listen, considering that you aren't out, on the home front, and I'm sure that we're all doing our bit to help out, but if you're not volunteering, if you have additional time, you could help the organization. Yes. Listen, if you have a couple of seconds, I could tell you a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. So, just to give you a little bit of background on the organization. Well, there's a couple of different organizations for advancing women's rights, but just so you know, the fight has been ongoing as early as over 100 years ago, as early as the concept of America. But, they decided all those years ago that this is a place of freedom and liberty, except that's actually only for white guys. That was really rude of them, and now we have to rectify what they did. As you also probably know, about 60 years ago was when it was enshrined into the Constitution that Black Americans can vote. Of course, that is incredibly, that's in air quotes, that's theoretical, because that is largely blocked off to many Black Americans. But hypothetically, that's what's supposed to happen. hypothetically, we would like women to be able to vote as well. Of course, as is that case, we know that that does not mean that the fight is over. That means that the fight has just started. But there's a lot of things that we can do and that we have done. First and foremost, our original plan was that, well, if we challenge it at the Supreme Court, then we'll be able to challenge the fact that, we're full citizens who can vote. Because originally in the Constitution, it didn't say, it said, okay. Basically, we were hoping that we could challenge the fact that it's only men and be like, we're full citizens too, and we're gonna do that in the court. But it didn't really work out. We were trying to get a couple of different, when this happened, I wasn't born, but the group, the movement, was like, we're gonna get a couple of, a lawsuit going, and then it'll go before the Supreme Court, and we'll all have rights, and it'll be beautiful. Except what happened is that didn't happen. In 1972, Susan B. Anthony successfully voted, except she then immediately got arrested, and then they sued, and then she went to jail, and then they had her trial, and they didn't let her talk the whole time until the end, and she gave a speech, and it was like, whoa, except what ended up happening is that they didn't give anyone the right to vote, and then they voted against it, and that was a real pooper, okay? But after that, the movement continued, and we moved on, and we were like, okay, what are we gonna do now? Well, we can't go through the judicial system, so we're trying the legislative. The plan is to get a bill into the House of Representatives, the Congress, but into the House of Representatives to then be passed on to the Senate, to then be passed on to the President. And that's gonna happen. It's gonna happen really soon. But we do need your help, you understand. And we need activists, especially in a time like this, even if they say that they don't, because we do. Yes. So, here's the thing. Here's the downfall. We were like, we're gonna get it in, and they're gonna vote for it. And as you probably know, I don't know if you do know, as of last year, here in New York, women are allowed to vote. And that was a beautiful, glorious celebration. And in many states now, women can vote, but not at the national level. And, if I may entertain you a little bit more, we do have our own newspaper, the Suffragist. And as you can see, unfortunately, it was voted against. Democratic senators, 55% for the suffrage movement. Republican senators, 75% for the suffrage movement. But even though it says people are for it, they voted against it. And listen, it was terrible. But the fight is not over. And listen, normally this is 2 cents, but I'll let you have it. Take a ponder, take a read, take a gander. But here's the thing. You have the power to vote this coming election. Yes, there is a midterm. I know, it's crazy. There's a midterm election. They have many of them, as well as the presidential election, which is in 2 years. In the midterm election, we're going to be voting for our senators, and our Congress members, representatives as well. And if we can get members of Congress in that agree with what we believe, then we can get a bill written and passed, because we have people in our court that are willing to pass that. You understand? Yes, I'm sure you understand. You're very smart, obviously. So, and also think about this. I mean, I'm sure maybe you've thought, oh, maybe I want to vote, but it's just the president. No, you don't just vote for the president. You vote for the president, you vote for the Senate, you vote for the Congress, you vote for the representatives. You also vote for all sorts of local things as well. You vote for the sheriff, you vote for the governor, you vote for local electives, all sorts of local things that will affect you more directly, if you ever feel like the election is very far away and, that none of that will ever affect you, you vote for all sorts of things that actually will directly affect you. Also, when you vote for the president, you also vote for the person who elects the Supreme Court members. So then you're, in a large part, voting for the judicial system as well. You see how much your vote can affect everything. And the thing is, not all women have that yet, which is why we need you. Yes. You understand? Listen. We have a lot of things to do, but we could really use your help. Yes. Oh, you're down. Oh, yes. Okay. Listen. We have a meeting in a week. At a location that I'm actually not sure about, but when I know, I will tell you. Yes. Oh, I'm so happy you could join. I've asked like 4 other people here, and they all said no, and now they don't talk to me anymore. So, I'm very glad you could join us. Yes, and feel free to read the newspaper. If you need any more, I have many copies. And there's all sorts of interesting stuff. It's not just like news, all sorts of interesting, news about the movement. You can figure out, what we've been up to, what we've been doing, sort of the theories we believe in. Yes. Well, I'm really glad I could talk to you. In the coming days, I'll have more information about the meeting, and you can come in and you can help us with the movement. Okay. Yes. Well, I'm so glad I could talk to you more. And I'll talk to you soon, okay, about the meeting. Yes. Remember, you're part of a much larger thing, You do this, and then, we'll have our own people in Congress, and one day we could have women in Congress, you know what I mean? Women in office, it's gonna be crazy. But you have to vote this November for the senators. So then we could have people who allow all women to vote for, well, maybe the coming election, maybe the next one. We'll see. Yeah. All right, perfect. Okay, I'll talk to you soon.